We're giving a legal update, and we're going to start giving legal updates on a more regular schedule now. We've had them erratically before. As part of that, we might not be speaking about issues that are entirely specific to us or about one issue, but giving updates in general as to the state of affairs. And that's what we're doing tonight. And in that spirit, we're going to talk about some of the movements with the Christian nationalist agenda since the election, because I've been getting a lot of questions as to whether we've seen an uptick in activity since the election. And my response is no, because they've been working full throttle anyways. And if anybody was waiting for a sign that things are going to get bad, that took place years ago. And it's not getting any better. And they're relentlessly pushing bills to impose religion in the public square and religion in schools. And no matter how many times they fail, they just bring it up to vote again and again. And in that spirit, I wanted to talk about Oklahoma, where they've yet again introduced a Ten Commandments bill, which is very much identical to the Ten Commandments bill that first brought the Satanic Temple into play with the Baphomet Monument, where we had offered to give a private donation of our Baphomet Monument to Oklahoma because they had put up a Ten Commandments on their Capitol grounds. We had made this offer before Baphomet was even made, and then started crowdfunding for it once we made those moves to get approval. But before we could even engage in that litigation or dispute with Oklahoma, their state Supreme Court ruled that it was unconstitutional for them to have this standalone Ten Commandments monument. And it came down, which hasn't stopped them from trying to reintroduce bills again and again to try to put another Ten Commandments monument back up. And this one that's introduced is by Senator David Bullard, who's tried this several times. And of course, his concentration generally has been on culture war issues. He's just, it seems like an ignorant guy who just follows social media and Fox News and tries to come up with these contentious culture war topics and push bills related to them. Something I looked up about him earlier that I found disturbing was that in 2023, he tried to pass a bill to phase out federal funding of Oklahoma schools because he didn't want the school districts in Oklahoma to be tethered to the federal government, which I feel, given the bigger picture on the things he's trying to do, probably means he wants to run state-funded religious schools in Oklahoma, which might be a model that other politicians will follow from there. Because the idea of taking out federal funding entirely from school districts was actually a new one on me, but it really makes sense when you know what the agenda is overall. But in the case of reintroducing the Ten Commandments bill, yet again, which he's doing, I think we talked about him doing this just last year. This time it doesn't say anything new as far as I can tell, but I think for them to reintroduce it after such a short period of time, it needs to have some kind of textual change. Is that correct, Matt? Do you know that? Or can they just really just rehash the same bills over and over again?
There's nothing stopping them from rehashing the same bills over and over again, but through the course of the Arkansas litigation, I have spent a lot of time looking at the Oklahoma statute that the Supreme Court of Oklahoma said is unconstitutional, is against their analog of the Assumption Clause. And this bill text is very different from that one. This bill text is basically piggybacking on some other statute that essentially requires display of various other historical documents, things like, incidentally, one of them is Ten Commandments, which I find interesting. Do you have the bill text in front of you?
I do. It says, they did this before too, though, where they say that they're authorizing the display of certain historical documents in monument form, including but not limited to the Ten Commandments, Magna Carta, Mayflower Compact, Declaration of Independence, United States Constitution, Bill of Rights, Oklahoma Constitution, and other historically significant documents in the form of statutes, monuments, memorials, tablets, or any other display that respects the dignity and solemnity of such documents. And it goes on again to talk about how this would all be donated monies that would go towards uh, any such monuments, and is uh, kind of vague about the process overall
Well,
of approval and parameters. I think those are all considered yet to be determined. But I don't see anything new. I haven't compared it verbatim to the prior bills, but it all is so familiar that I think, in whole or in part, it's the same as what it was before. And in spirit, I don't see anything different at all.